Hey everybody, Merrill Chandler here, and in this episode of The Truth You Trust, these are industry reaction videos, right? This is where we take a look at what's actually happening with lenders, with borrowers, policies that are changing, right? Changes in federal government statutes that deal with what's going on with borrower and lender experience, right? Well, today I've got. It might not affect many of you. For some of you, this is going to be devastating. But what we're talking about right now is the the Chase, and Chase has made a new policy decision, and it is a broad, sweeping policy decision. And many of you have heard about Chase starting the policy that was called 524. If there are 5 or more approvals, if they recognize in their underwriting software, when you file an application and they pull your profile and they recognize 5 or more approvals for unsecured revolving credit cards, etc., over the last 24 months, it's an automatic denial. And they did that to protect themselves from credit card stacking, right? To be participating in credit card stacking. If those approvals happen in 30 days or 24 months, doesn't matter. They're not going to approve you. Well, and interestingly enough, Chase is kind of leading that charge because now there are dozens of banks who are all incorporating that algorithm inside of their underwriting, their automatic underwriting systems, right? Well, Chase is at it again. And in this case, it's they're basically prohibiting the use of any transaction that you charge on your credit card for a cash equivalent. And so I'm looking right now in this. I'm looking at one of our clients sent us their update, and it's called Important Changes to Your Account Terms. So I will be reading this because I want to make sure I'm quoting them exactly. So basically, they've changed the definitions to include cash-like transactions. And these will now be in all of their terms and conditions for any credit card that you get from Chase. Now, here is what they define as a cash-like transaction. Cash-like transactions will be treated as cash advances. So that means if you do one of the things I'm going to read in just a moment, they're going to charge you cash advance rates, which at this point in this agreement are literally 24.9% interest plus a 5% of the purchase up front. So they're charging you 5 points on that cash-like purchase or a cash-like transaction. I don't want to call it a purchase. So cash-like transactions will be treated as cash advances. Cash-like transactions include, but are not limited to, listen carefully, traveler's checks, foreign currency, money orders, wire transfers, cryptocurrency or other similar virtual or digital currencies and similar transactions. That means if you use your Chase card, and I'm saying Chase because this is who's starting it out, but I guarantee you this is going to be followed up by many more of tier 1, tier 2 banks. Anytime you use your credit card to buy traveler's checks or to buy currency or money orders, you're not going to get your regular interest rate. You're going to get a 5% surcharge, and you're going to get a 24 or higher interest, whatever your bank charges. Right now, this borrower was being charged 24.9% interest. Now, the list continues. Purchasing lottery tickets, casino gaming chips, racetrack wagers, or similar offline and online betting transactions. Every one of those, 5%, a 5% up front for whatever you bought. That means if you bought $1,000, that's $50 $1,000 in traveler's checks or in lottery tickets or gaming chips, you're going to pay $50 right up front, and you're going to be charged 24.9% in this case. The list continues. Person-to-person money transfers and account funding transactions that transfer currency, as well as making payments using a third-party service, including bill pay transactions made directly with the merchant or service provider. Guys, that means if you're using, in this case, if you're using a Chase credit card and you are using Venmo, a third party or other bill paying service, that is considered a cash-like transaction, and you're going to get hit with a 5% service charge and 24.9%. Now, here's the other. That's the definition of what it means. So it's those four bullets are traveler's checks, foreign currency. So you're actually buying cash type transactions, lottery tickets, gaming, or any betting, person-to-person money transfers and account funding transactions like Venmo, and payment using a third-party service, Venmo, or bill paying transactions. All of those are now subject to this 5%. Now, 5% charge and being treated like a cash advance. Now, you guys may know as well as I do that if you have let's say you have a Chase card and it's 0 interest for 6, 12, 18 months, cash advance are not 0% purchases. You have to purchase things, or you got to purchase stuff that's not these things. So guys, every one of them require that you anything that's cash like is going to cost you more money. And especially in this case, every time you use Venmo or otherwise, and you tap your Chase card, and this was a Chase Inc. business card. So I'm not going to say right now that this is every Chase account, but Chase is usually pretty, they make kind of global decisions. So I would be looking for your personal Chase, business Chase, anything that has to Chase. Look for an email or money or a mail in snail mail to give you an opportunity to see what changes they're making to your particular cardholder agreement. And yes, guys, they can change horses midstream. Many of us are like, hey, those weren't the terms when I got this card. Well, you don't have to keep the card. Is basically their reply to you for saying, what happened? I got this card because I wanted to do these types of transactions. Now, here's the one that's killer. Many real estate investors, many people who have been, who've gone through credit card stacking outfits. Many of you have been given, I think one's called Mimeo, the other one's called Plastique, and they allow you to tap the credit cards, consolidate it, take their fee, and put money in your checking account. Right? So basically, they're just warehousing money. They tap whatever credit cards you tell them to tap. They tap those, put it in your check account, and then you can do whatever transactions you want, including real estate or otherwise. Those are now prohibited because Plastique, Mimeo, etc., are these third-party warehousing or limit tapping versions of credit instruments that are not being supported anymore. So, and the worst part of it all, guys, is that they're not only do you get charged interest, do not be deceived when you're told that, oh, hold it, I am at 0% interest. Cash advance, you read your fine print. Cash advance are never 0% interest because you're actually lending them money rather than buying goods or services. So the one service that's not being allowed, Plastique, Mimeo, Vimeo, any of those that are allowed where you can tap an account, those are gone as well. So we need to revisit, all of us who are on the fundability path. We need to revisit if we've been doing those things. Remember, part of what I teach my students and my clients is that we don't want to mess around with credit cards. We want to get business lines of credit, business loans that don't have these restrictions, where you can write a check and do a deal for the things that are moving your business forward, whether it's real estate, notes, whether you are private lending, or you're buying more franchises. We need to make sure that we know exactly what's happening. So for those of you who've just barely joined us, go back and watch the beginning of this. This is a big move on Chase's part, and it's going to harm many of you who have been trying to use credit card stacking as a way to have access to money. So if you'd like more information, go to getfundablebootcamp.com. Oh, by the way, we have a boot camp coming up on the 23rd and 24th this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Come and find out what's happening in the world of fundability and how to make your profile fundable. But other than that, guys, you need to stay updated. When you see in Facebook and YouTube, where all the places where we're broadcasting, whenever you see a notice that we're going live, this is the level of information we want you to have access to. So come and join us and get this information so that you can make the important changes and you're not affected, you're not caught unawares. This is Merrill Chandler, your host of the Get Fundable universe, and my pleasure in walking with you along your path to fundability. We'll see you next time.